Today, young Muslims who are prepared to be suicide bombers are promised immediate access to paradise for the perceived sacrifice by religious or political leaders who choose to use sections of the Quran for their own purposes. Perhaps the greatest hope of stemming this tide of intolerance is to open dialogue between members of differing religious groups, and this is not always easy. But within all the large world religions, there are a substantial number of adherents who are closed to any type of dialogue, because they fear the aim of the other religion is to try and convert its followers. Or, on the other hand, they may find the other religion so appealing that they may convert just on their own. This leaves us sometimes as feelings as individuals of what can we possibly do to solve this complex problem. However, I disagree. If things are to change, you have to take the initiative and reach out to those around you and not worry about what is happening on the other side of the world. Fethullah Gulen did not wait for the Turkish government to start discussions with other religious leaders. He met with the popes, patriarchs of the Orthodox churches, and many other religious leaders. He decided the world could not wait for politicians to act. He would do what he could. The Turkish government was not pleased with his meeting with these religious leaders because he was not a politician and he did not represent the Turkish state. But Mr. Gulen is a religious leader, and everyone should be able to discuss religion and should not have to seek political approval to do so. Where did he feel he got this authority? He says, at the very outset, the Quran calls people to accept the former prophets and their books. Having such a condition at the very beginning seems important to me, especially in the manner of interfaith dialogue. It is very difficult to truly accept the former prophets or their books without knowing them. And one of the best ways to ensure that you are not interpreting them that you are not misinterpreting them is to talk to followers of these books. Jesus was Jewish, and there were strict rules about not talking to people of other faiths, yet he sought out non-Jews and spread his message. So did Mohammed. Mr. Gulen has pointed out that Muslims and Christians have struggled with each other for almost 14 centuries. He goes on to say, the West remembers Islam's military might and invasions. Current Muslim opposition to and resentment of the West benefits no one. In our global village, the West cannot wipe out Muslims, or Islam and Muslims, and Muslim armies cannot wipe out the West. Both sides can benefit from each other. The West has scientific, technological, and economic military supremacy. Islam possesses an uncorrupted and living spiritual tradition rooted in the Quran and Sunnah. Well, how do we go about talking to people of these other faiths? Well, here are some ideas. First of all, find religious groups open to dialogue and start with them with a view to expanding to others later on. Second, start with what is achievable. The Vatican expressed in 2004 in one of their encyclical papers that they were open to dialogues with all religions. And then in 2008, Pope Benedict cast some doubt on the possibility of actual interfaith dialogue, but called more for discussion of the practical consequences. He said interreligious dialogue, in the strict sense of the word, is not possible. In theological terms, added the Pope, a true dialogue is not possible without putting aside one's faith in parentheses. But Benedict added that intercultural dialogue, which deepens the cultural consequences of basic religious ideas, was important, and he called for confronting in a public forum the cultural consequences of basic religious decisions. I guess my feeling is there's a little bit of confusion here, but as a negotiator, when you negotiate and reach agreement, you're not moving over to the other side. You are reaching elements that are common, that you both agree on, and you're agreeing to respect those things that aren't common and to leave them as they are. Mr. Gulen has also taken a practical view of what can be accomplished. Muslims must stop acting out of ideological or political partnership and dressing it up in Islamic garb or represent mere desires or ideas. This has caused the West to adopt a distorted vision of Islam. For example, American universities teach Islam as a political system in their political science or international relations departments. All religions should be able to exist and flourish under a number of systems. Islam, like Christianity, Judaism, Sikhism, and the Baha'is, are first of all religions, and although they do provide guidance on how to live with others of the same and different faith. The second step, read about other religions. Go to texts and writings written by people of the faith, and not only interpretations by people of your faith. Read the sacred text yourself. Don't always rely on somebody else's interpretations. You'll be surprised at what you find. Next, look for common elements, things that you are familiar with. Ask about things that seem basic to your religion, which seems to be missing in the faith of others. You may have missed something in your readings. 5, get to know others who follow that faith. Attend lectures put on by religious groups and just listen. You'll find out many new things. You may also discover they have misconceptions about your religion. Don't rush to correct these misconceptions right away, but consider why they might have these misconceptions. Is it a misunderstanding of a text? Is it something that has been playing in the media? Have the other sects of your religion been espousing those views? Don't get angry at those who have no reason to be familiar with your religion. Number 6, be open to the scholarly work of leaders of other faiths. You may well gain insights into your own faith. For example, I was always taught you must have faith, and once you have faith, then all the religious beliefs will be easy to follow. Fine, but how do you decide to have faith?